I'm Joan Fleury. I was married to Jim Fleury. We raised 9 children. It was a job. But our lives changed so drastically. Karen was born creeping around the floor, pulling herself up, eating by herself, going to school her first day, as were they all. You see a drop of water fall, and it leaves one little ring. And if there's 2 drops, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. As you go along, you get more circles. Well, this is what happens to a family when something like this occurs. Karen had grown. She was on the junior prom. She loved it. She was on the court there. I watched her learning to ride her bike, falling down, scraping her knees, come crying in the house all bloody. Mom would be the nurse. I'd bandage her up, clean her up, bandage her, kiss the boo-boo, and she was gone again. Back out to hurt the other knee. She loved her bicycle. She said she didn't want to learn to drive because there were too many crazies on the road. There was this one guy, he thought he'd go out and have a good time. The way he had a good time was to get loaded out of his mind. Back in those days, there was no drunken driving rules. If you wanted to party, you went and partied. So out he went, and he drank all afternoon. So bad, he couldn't get in his van. A bartender came out and tried to get his keys, and he wouldn't give them to her. He got in the van and he drove away. Meanwhile, Karen, on her bike, had headed out for a little jaunt toward the city beach. He's out there boozing it up. Came across her, hit her, kept right on going. Can you picture this? She's laying beside the road, seriously injured. Cars were stopping all over the place. This family, who's all healthy, having a good time together, and all of a sudden something like this happens. Someone knocked on the front door and said to Jim, "Can we come in?" It was the state police. He had been on the police force for 22 years, so he knew many of them. They came in, and he said, I could tell the minute they walked in the door, this was not a social call. Your daughter, Karen, was killed tonight by a drunk driver. When I arrived home, and he told me, I'm standing in the driveway, and I'm screaming my head off. I'm saying, no, why did this happen? How can this happen? Here you are in complete control of your life, and all of a sudden, the bomb drops. Teresa, the daughter that was living with Karen, was notified by the state police to please come to the hospital and look to see if this was her sister. Somebody recognized her. 19 years old. You know why? So Mom and Dad wouldn't have to do it. Hello. How many of you are 19 or close? Does it bring anything home to you? How would you feel? Why? Because one man decided he wanted to go have a good time. Well, he had a good time, all right. After he drove away and left her laying there, he stopped at the traffic signal up north of there, right on the corner, got out of the car, turned around and looked over his shoulder, shrugged. I don't know what happened here. Got back in the car and went home. The police found him there. Still sitting in his van. And you know what? Mom wasn't even with Karen to kiss away that boo-boo. That hurts people. That really hurts. You don't want to be responsible for something like this. So whether it's booze or dope or whatever it is, get away from it. If you're going to drive, then don't drink. And if you're going to drink, then for God's sake, get rid of the keys before you even start. Because you know the first thing that goes is your common sense. Oh, I'm okay. I didn't have that much. I only had a couple of beers. So many beers that he wiped out this girl's life. She was a beautiful person, vibrant, alive. Christmases, Thanksgivings, all those, we have a good time. But there's always someone missing. And those ripples got bigger and bigger and bigger. And people started sending gifts of money. And I said, what in God's name are we going to do with this money? So we built the bike path north of the city, along with the help of I don't know how many people. The city, the county, the town, everybody pitched in, all the neighbors. There was one woman had no money, and she said, I want to do something. She went home and made lollipops to sell at a raffle. All because of this. And whenever I get down, I get the photograph album. And I find something that's going to make me laugh. I'll sit there looking at that album forever and ever. But when it comes anniversary time, I'm sitting in front of the gravestone up at St. Peter's Cemetery. Saying, what would we have done on your birthday? Or what would we be doing today? Would you have gotten that purple purse that you wanted? She had a boyfriend also who had bought a ring and was going to give it to her for her birthday in October. This was June. June 2nd. I will not forget the day. We went in to look at her the last time. It was not Karen I was looking at. Her soul had left her. Her spirit had left her. There was no vibrant young girl there anymore. She was still and pale and cold. And I wondered, when is the last time I told her I loved her? You don't always say that, you know. So I'm telling you right now, don't forget to tell the people you love them. And I'm asking you this. If you drive and drink or dope or whatever, if you have friends that do that, don't do it. It could be you standing right here telling your story. And you know what? There's people that drive with their kids in the car, and they're like that. That's pretty sad. They don't have a chance. So I'm asking you, talk to your friends, talk to each other. This is Karen. As she was as a baby, in growing up, in going into school, she was a good student. She graduated from high school. She's forever gone. We won't see her anymore. And you think of the many things that you wanted to say to her. Your promise when? Tomorrow? Tonight? When? tomorrow. Enjoy your prom. Do it safely. Have some smarts. Right decisions mean an awful lot. Don't wait until you've had a drink to decide what you're going to do. Because then it's too late. So thank you very much. I appreciate your listening.